Thanks for joining us on our streaming service for your drought alert. I'm your first alert meteorologist, Callie Zanandri. There's some good news in this week's U.S. Drought Monitor. Following last week's rainfall, drought conditions improved across portions of Colorado's northeast plains, and we're now seeing drought-free conditions in parts of Yuma, Washington, and Kit Carson counties. Not everywhere saw improvements, though. Conditions worsened across parts of central and southwest Colorado. Meanwhile, widespread severe and extreme drought continues across portions of the mountains, where long-term moisture deficits remain a concern. Joining us today is Jordan Lambert, Director of CSU Ag Innovation Center. Welcome, Jordan.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, well, we're excited to talk about CSU Innovation Ag Center. For people who haven't heard about it, what do you guys do there?
Yeah, so at the Ag Innovation Center, our job is to understand the problems that our 32,000 farmers and ranchers across the state are facing. We actually keep a database of every problem any farmer or rancher has ever told us about. And then we try to accelerate partnerships to try to solve some of those problems. One of the ways that we do that is by incubating and accelerating ag tech companies to solve some of these issues.
So cool. Now, Colorado farmers and ranchers are facing a lot of uncertainty right now. What are the biggest challenges you're hearing from producers?
Well, in Colorado, it is water, as you said at the top. And it struck me as you were talking about the drought monitor. Sure, the water has gotten better on the northeast plains, but the way that that got better is a lot of hail. So it actually wiped out a lot of corn acres, and some of them can't replant. A lot of them are replanting to sorghum right now. Even if the water's better, how we got the water is not always ideal. So that's an issue. Labor remains an issue. Rising costs generally. Water costs money. Labor costs money. And then an uncertain market always is a very common thing in commoditized agriculture. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Now, how does the Ag Innovation Center help move an idea from a research lab into something that can actually be used on a farm or a ranch?
Such a great question. Yeah, we do help commercialize a lot of innovations that come from our CSU researchers as well as outside of CSU. We provide support there as well. But what we really try to do is help the innovator who might have a new doohickey of some kind. Maybe it's a new plant genetics, or maybe it's a new piece of software, or maybe it's a new piece of hardware. In each of those cases, what we're really trying to do is help the innovation be really grounded with that problem. So sometimes we have innovators who come to us who've invented a cool thingy, but they've never met a farmer before. So we sometimes help broker that transaction. Sometimes they actually know their producers really well and they understand the problem that they're trying to solve, but they might not have financing to be able to get from here to there. So what we do at the Ag Innovation Center is kind of roll in and help support with the legs of the stool that the innovator may not have. We find that a kick-ass ag tech innovator has three things. They understand the problem that they're solving, they have a doohickey that can address that problem, and they have to have ag-specific business acumen, because just because you've commercialized something in some other business sector doesn't mean that you understand the networks and the dynamics of the agricultural sector. So our role at the Ag Innovation Center is to support the leg of the stool that you don't have, because zero ag tech founders are born with all three.
Yeah, you know, you kind of remind me of like Shark Tank for farming and ranching in Colorado. I love it. So much innovation coming out of there. Now, when people hear ag tech, they may think of robots, AI. What are some of the most exciting technologies you're seeing right now?
Yeah, so my definition of ag technology is anything that helps a farmer or rancher make a safe and abundant food supply for us. I think of it in kind of roughly three categories, although they can overlap. Stuff that does biological work. So that's genetics, so better seeds, better cattle genetics in some cases. It can be a fungicide or an herbicide, things that do biological work. The second thing is things that do physical work. So that's like usually a tractor or automation in your case, like maybe it's robots that are doing repetitive tasks. And then the third piece is stuff that does data work. What farming is optimizing a biological system for profit. Having data about where all the money is and where you're spending things can really help you drive better, more sustainable results on farm. So those ag technologies are all ones that are exciting, but we are seeing artificial intelligence show up in all three of those categories, actually. We have about 40 ag tech companies that we support, and 100% of them are using AI in some capacity. It's not always in the product itself. One of the things that we're seeing a lot right now is is ag tech companies are able to hire fewer employees, but each of those employees can now do more because of ag tech in marketing messages, in posting things to Facebook, which is a very common go-to-market channel for ag tech companies, even in doing their finances and managing their customer relationship management tool. So even if it's not inside the technology itself, although it sometimes can be, AI is doing a lot to allow more ag tech companies to have more impact sooner with less capital upfront.
Very interesting. Can you share a few examples of a startup or project that are making a real impact in Colorado agriculture?
Yeah, sure. There's two that I'm really excited about right now. More than that, but one of them is called the Easy Ration Processor, and it's from a producer, a rancher innovator in Kim, Colorado. So you guys may have noticed, going to the grocery store right now, beef is really expensive,
Yeah.
right now. And the reason that it's really expensive right now is we have the smallest cattle herd in the nation for decades. And the reason that we have the smallest cattle herd in the nation right now is because several years ago we had a lot of drought. If you have a lot of drought, you don't have enough grass. And for most of our beef supply chain in the United States, all of those animals start out on grass. They start out grazing. Colorado is a huge state for this. And the way that that happens is in cow-calf pairs. So you have a mama cow and you have a baby cow. When the baby grows up enough, it gets sold into the meat supply chain and is going to become your hanger steak or your hamburger. But you want to keep that mama cow because it takes 2 years for her to reach reproductive maturity and have a baby cow. So when we had drought several years ago, it was so severe that we didn't have enough rain to support the grass, to support even the mama cows. So our ranchers actually had to sell a lot of their mama cows. Now, this Easy Ration Processor thing is kind of a cool doohickey because what it allows a rancher to do is supplement feed in situations where they don't have enough grass to support the mama cows. And they can do this in a way that's really ration balanced. It's feed that is more affordable, and they can do it in a safe way. A lot of our ranchers will actually climb on the back of the truck while it's in gear and flake off hay with no one in the cab. So this is a way of keeping that a lot safer. It doesn't solve drought. You can't feed your way out of a drought, but it can provide ranchers a little bit more flexibility when they don't have enough grass to support all of their mama cows that they may not want to sell.
And quickly, your second example was something with seeds.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so we have an app called SeedLinked, and if you're a gardener in Colorado, or if you're a plant breeder, we have a number of plant breeders in Colorado that might be even working out of their backyard that are really optimizing crops for the conditions that we're finding ourselves in now. So these are, SeedLinked is an app that allows master breeders and master growers to provide information to each other about how well that Pueblo chili grew in this part of Colorado as opposed to that part. How did it taste? How abundant was it? It's also doing a lot of work in the Pacific Northwest for new blueberry varieties. So SeedLinked is really there to help us advance our germplasm on all of those really wonderful vegetables that make life worth living. Our alliums, our garlic, our onions. So that's a really great one that everyone can participate in right now. It's a free app.
Well, so many cool things that you guys are doing. I love all of the innovation, and you are helping so many people. Jordan Lambert, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you back here next week for your Drought Alert.